Welcome to the Ambitious Introvert Podcast, created especially for introverts, empaths, and highly sensitive entrepreneurs to help you build, grow, and scale a successful, sustainable business. I'm your host, Emma-Louise Parks, business and mindset coach for ambitious introverts. After 17 years working as an air traffic controller, the ultimate fast-paced, high-stimulus, extrovert-friendly role, my mission now is to show introverts that they too can create big results and success because of who they are, not in spite of it. I focus on introvert-friendly business and marketing strategy to help you switch overwhelm for clarity, confidence, and clients. Hello, welcome to this third solo episode in a row of the Ambitious Introvert Podcast. I'm Emma-Louise, and this episode is actually going to wrap up this mini-series thing that I've had going on all about decisions and decision fatigue, and really how to make the most of our energy by only making the decisions that really matter for us. Last week we talked about in business, and this week I'm going to talk about in life. So if you are new here, or if you've skipped a few weeks, highly recommend that you go and listen to the previous two episodes first, because it's going to give a lot more context around this. It's going to give a lot more context around what decision fatigue actually is, why it happens, what we can do about it. And then last week in particular, I did a deep dive into how we can avoid it in business. And I have to say, it's been a while since I've done solo episodes, and I have been shocked but thrilled at how many people have reached out from these episodes to say that it resonated with them very much. You know, I've had a lot of, this is me, this is how I feel. A lot of reshares, a lot of people saying last week in particular, they were like, this could be a course, this is so great. So it's really great to know that this has been valuable content. So if you did miss out on those, I highly recommend that you, like I say, go and listen to those first and then come back so you have more context. If you did listen, I hope you enjoyed them too. And then this week, we're going to wrap up talking about the decision savers that we can use in life, because ultimately how we feel in life, how things are happening in life, how we're dealing with life admin, how we are just basically being a human and adulting, does have an impact on how we act and feel in our business. There's no way around it. No matter how much we might try to separate and compartmentalize, it's just not possible. And as someone who, as I said in the previous episodes, had a job that required many thousands, if not tens of thousands of decisions and important decisions each day, I really doubled down on making sure that I wasn't wasting my decision-making muscle in life on things that actually probably don't really matter that much, because I would get home and I had nothing left in the tank when it came to making good decisions. So I'm going to share a little bit more about that. Before I do, a very quick reminder that this week is the last week that you can get on board for Quiet Power, the mini mind. We kick off on the 26th of September. And if you have not heard about this mini mind, this is one of the most exciting things that I have launched in recent years, because it's so different to the rest of my offers. It's different in that it's much shorter. It's an 8-week container, which feels very exciting. It's very different in that it is focused purely on your own personal development and self-mastery. So while, of course, that is going to have a huge impact on your business, because strategy alone does not cut it, this is probably the first container I've released in a very long time that does not have a business strategy focus. This is about you. It's about your growth. It's about your development. And it's about the way you are able to conduct yourself as you run your business, something that is vitally important at every stage, from day one right the way up to scaling, selling, whatever position you are in. And it's really a collection of the tools and the skills and the practices that I have tried myself over the last 20 years. And as a 1-3 in human design, all the things I've learned, experimented with, and really seen what are the most powerful things that I can do to bring myself to a place where I feel regulated and I have resilience in my business. And I've seen these things work over and over again for clients as well over the last 4.5 years. So these are real proven techniques, and I've put them together in the Quiet Power Mini Mind in a way that you will learn the skills. I will guide you through them. We'll work through them together during that 8 weeks. And then you'll have that as, I guess, a framework to take with you on your business journey. And when there is a bump in the road, or when something comes up that feels challenging, or when you're ready to up level and make some bold moves, you know exactly how to approach it. You know what the things are to do to support your mindset and to support your energy. And I almost could have called this something like the self-coaching toolkit, because that's essentially what you'll be learning to do, is how do I coach myself through these situations? And how do I bring awareness to what I'm thinking? Then how do I take action from that place? So if you haven't learned, if that's not enough for you, you want to know more about it, do pop to the link in the show notes and read all about it. Send me a message. Feel free to email, send me a DM on Instagram. I'm happy to answer any questions, see if it could be the right fit for you. And the last way that this particular program is very different to anything I've offered recently is the price point, because it's been a long time since I've had a program that was under $1,000 for the entire program that also gives you one-on-one coaching with me. So there will be calls 6 weeks out of the 8, and there will be space for every single person to have hot seat coaching or ask questions or be guided and supported in any way they choose, depending on what is coming up for them. So I'm very excited. If you feel excited too, and you would like to join me, like I say, head to the show notes and all the details will be there. So on with the episode. What I will say to tie that in is being able to put things in place to enable you to make less decisions can require boundaries. It can require you to think and act differently than you have before. And that's exactly the type of thing the mini mind will support you with when those kind of things come up where you go, this feels different and a little bit uncomfortable, but I can see the benefit of doing it, but I just feel a little bit around it. Those are the exact kind of practices and tools that are going to help you in those situations. So if you're listening to anything that I share now and you think that makes so much sense, but I can't do that because what will so-and-so think? Or, I can't do that because I've never done it that way before. Know that that's the exact kind of support that you would get inside of Quiet Power. So how do we make less decisions in life to save our energy and our decision-making muscle for the ones that are important? Number one, and this is one of the first things I ever implemented, I would say, because I get very overwhelmed and overstimulated when I'm presented with too many options, which I know is very common. And I almost get a hangover from it. If I'm researching something, which I love to do, 1-3 in human design, there's a point that's too much for me, and it's usually upon me before I know. And suddenly I have zero energy. Everything's gone. Nothing's making sense anymore. I've just crammed my brain with information, not actually done anything with it, and I can't make a decision. So one of the things I did, one of the very first things that I did, is I recognized that in this day and age, let's say I wanted to buy some pajamas. If I go onto Google and click ladies' pajamas, I'm going to be absolutely, completely overwhelmed. So I actually made a decision to only buy my pajamas from Gap. This was about 10 years ago, and it has changed since. However, at that time, I really liked Gap. Gap was good. It was good quality. It fit me well. It was quite neutral. I liked the colors. I liked the materials. I liked the styles. Generally, if I went into Gap or looked at their website and looked at their loungewear or pajamas, there was always something that I liked. So I was like, why am I looking everywhere else? Why am I looking at Gap? And then why am I going and looking at Marks and Spencer and John Lewis and another shop and actually spending a lot of time and energy on something that probably isn't that important in the grand scheme of life. Yes, I want to have nice, comfortable pajamas to lounge around the house in. Is Gap going to provide that for me like 80% of the time? Yes. So that was one of the first things I did. I was like, oh, I need pajamas. I'm just going to go to Gap. And unless there was nothing in Gap that I liked, I didn't go anywhere else because I just realized how much time and energy I was spending just looking at things. So number one, know where you go for certain items. Maybe it's skincare, maybe it's food, maybe it's pajamas, maybe it's pet food, like whatever, but know where you go. Know the places that serve you really well for it, that, 80% of the time have what you need, and go there first. And unless they really, really can't help, don't go anywhere else. That was one of the biggest things for me. And that came from a place of, like I say, being exhausted from making so many decisions as an air traffic controller. Number two, I talked about this in the first episode of this mini series, where I said many people, many very influential people, such as Barack Obama, Steve Jobs, they wear either the same outfit or they have a very limited wardrobe where everything matches everything so that they don't have to make a decision. They don't have to think, what color tie should I wear? Or should I wear like jeans or chinos today? Now, if you are someone that's very creative and very into fashion, you might be like, Emma-Louise, are you kidding? I'm not just wearing the same thing every day. Like that's gonna kill me. I get that. However, when I was in my job and I had to get up early and I just was tired and I didn't want to think and I definitely didn't want to be making decisions, I would plan my outfit the night before. I would just choose something. It took me 2 minutes before I went to bed. I would check the weather and then I would be like, okay, that's fine. I'm going to wear that. I'm going to wear that. I would get it out. I would hang it on the front of the wardrobe and it's there. So that when I got up in the morning, one less decision to make. This also works really well if you want to work out in the mornings. It's get your exercise clothes out and just put them out next to the bed or wherever is nearby. It's one less decision to make because if you're anything like me, you can make a million decisions and they can all stop you from doing something that's good for you, like exercise. Because I'd be like, oh, do I feel like exercising? What do I feel like doing? Oh, what should I wear? Oh, and, even get into that, like, what should I wear can be enough for me to go, no, this is just too much and I can't be bothered now. So get outfits out the night before, including exercise clothes. Number 3 is not uncommon, and I'm sure many of you do it, but planning your meals out for the week. And where I found this really helpful is obviously in being able to shop and know what's needed. But also for me, if I need to decide on the day what I'm going to make, I'm probably going to get takeout. So it's much healthier and cheaper for me to plan meals out for the week. And whether that's having like a meal delivery service that brings the ingredients. So it's just like, great, I don't have to think about it. I already plan the meals when I put them in the order, or whether it's like, okay, on like Tuesday, I'm going to make this. And on Wednesday, I'll have leftovers. And on Thursday, I'll make this. And on Friday, I'll have leftovers. But I know, and it's there and it's planned out. And when I don't have to think, I'm much more likely to make healthy choices and I'm much more likely to stick to the plan, basically. Like we talked about last week, when you've got a plan versus no plan, you're much more likely to stick to it. So knowing your meals for the week can definitely save time and effort and money and calories, but also save that decision fatigue of, I don't know what I want. What am I going to eat? And in that similar vein, number 4, have a set rotation of recipes that you love just for normal days. So for me, and apologies to the vegetarians, it's things like I love chili and it's super easy to make. So I can make a big pot of chili and have that on the go even while I'm on a client call. I have an Instant Pot. If you don't have an Instant Pot, I highly recommend an Instant Pot. Will pop a link in the show notes for you. Beef brisket in the Instant Pot. Easiest thing ever. Super quick. Get so many meals out of it. Really great. These things that I just don't have to think about. Now, I love new recipes. I love more complex recipes. I love, the art of cooking as such. But I love that at the weekends on time off. But on like your average work day and weeknight, it's good for me to go, I just make that because I know exactly how to do it and I know that I enjoy it. So think about those recipes that you just, so easy for you to make, that you enjoy, they always go down well, and have those on rotation so that you are mixing them up. You're not going to get too bored, but it requires far less thinking and decision making than if you're making something new and complex. Staying on food, again, for number 5. If you can, if your lifestyle allows, look at getting your groceries delivered in the same slot each week. So a lot of supermarkets will do this. So here in the UK, you can reserve your slot and it's the same slot each week, same time. And you can even put like a basic order in. So it's always the same things. So, you'll always get coffee and bananas and smoothies and, whatever else, your things that you need on a day-to-day basis. You can always get like a pack of granola, or you can always get like cat food. And those things come. And even if you get super busy and you do nothing else and you don't edit that order, that order will come and you will have your basics and you will have things in for the week without having to even think about it. So if that works for your lifestyle, I appreciate some people maybe traveling more or working shifts or whatever, but consider that just to have those things come in without you needing to decide, like, should I get groceries? When should I get them delivered? What should I get put in there? Just having that set thing, those set items come in at the same time each week will save you so much of that. Number 6, again, I know many people choose to boycott Amazon, and I understand that the tax implications of some of their decisions do not sit well with people. However, if you are an Amazon user, think about using subscribe and save for essentials, because they will then auto ship and save you money. So where this has been really good for me is things like dried pet food that I can get on Amazon. I know roughly how long a big bag of dried pet food lasts for my animals, and I can set it to be delivered every month or every 2 months automatically, and you usually get somewhere between 5 and 15% off. Also good with things like razor blades or kitchen roll, or just really random basic stuff that we don't want to think about on a day-to-day basis, but it's bad news if we actually run out of it. So if you are an Amazon user, then do consider that. I know a lot of other websites are doing this. Actually, I use a pet website here in the UK, and they do that with the pet food. So when you order, you can choose, is it a one-off, or do you want this auto-delivered every 4 weeks? So whether it's Amazon or not, look for these options. My deodorant does this. I use Wild deodorant, which is a natural brand, and they do this as well, where it auto ships the refills every 3 months. So anywhere that you can do this, if it's things that that you use on a regular basis, but you don't want to have to be thinking about replacing them, really, really great way. Number 7, moving more into our development now. And this is one that I have suggested to so many clients who said it's been a game changer for them. And that is thinking about things like EFT or meditations. Create a playlist of them. Now, whether this is on YouTube, I use YouTube for EFT quite often, and I use Insight Timer for meditations personally. And both of those you can access for free, which is great. But if I need to go and find a meditation that I like the look of, or, what type of meditation do I want to do today? Or the same with EFT. I'm like, EFT, like, what do I want to do? What do I want to tap about? What's been going on? All of these things, all of these decisions are draining me. So I always recommend to clients, create a playlist. Sit down for 15 minutes and just commit to creating a playlist of EFT, meditations, whatever you use, that resonate with you at that time, and don't overthink it. If it's just like, that one's about money mindset, great. Or, this one's about trusting myself, that sounds like something I would need. Don't overthink it. Don't look for the perfect things. Just put them all in a playlist, and then you can just literally play each day the next one that comes up without having to think. This does require an element of surrender, especially if you are a recovering control freak like I am, because your brain will say, oh, but there might be a better one. What if I don't feel like doing that today? And the answer there is that done is better than perfect. So if you can just create the list and then not have to think about it, I will guarantee you will do it more than you used to when you were looking for the perfect one and what did you feel like doing today? Because it's literally delivered to you on a plate. You just go into the playlist, there's one at the top, you play it and you do it. And this is a really great way to create these habits for your mindset, for your energy, for your mental health, rather than getting caught up in getting it right and getting it perfect and having to research and find the right one. And this, I'm talking all of these things from experience. So 7, get a playlist together of these things like tapping, meditations, whatever it is. Same for podcasts. Actually, if you're looking for like inspirational podcast, if you like to listen to a podcast every day, just spend some time each month saving some episodes so that you're not scrolling through and looking like immediately before you want to listen. And 8 is in a similar vein, but do the same for your workouts. If you use any kind of app or YouTube or something like Peloton for workouts, they will all have the option for you to either create playlists or save your favorites, things like that. For the same reason, do that. I do this for yoga. I use YouTube for yoga, and there are certain practices that I know are going to be good for me, usually back, neck, and shoulders, because I'm over a laptop for most of the day. And I really like yoga before bed, and I really like yoga that doesn't have very much talking or music. So if I find these, I just save them in a playlist, and it means that I don't have to think too much about it. I can just be like, oh, I fancy doing yoga. Let me just press play, and I know that the next one that comes up will be relevant. Now, you could do this in various ways. You can save different playlists. So you can have like a chilled yoga playlist, or you could have like a yoga flow playlist. And the same with Peloton. I have Peloton. So with their app, they have like weights, they have strength training, they have yoga and Pilates, and then obviously they have the cycling, the bike workouts. So I've got like various things saved there where I don't have to look and say, oh, which one do I want to do? Because it just becomes so overwhelming. So think about where you can, where can you curate these lists of things that you will know, you will listen to, you will use, you will watch, and just put them there so that when it's time to do it, you don't have to go through the rigmarole of finding one. You can just literally hit play and do it. 9, this is a little similar to one I said last week in business, where I said about using templates for your content is not the devil. It's not ideal, and some people do not like it at all because they say, oh, I'd rather be creative. But if you find yourself staring at a blank page rather than doing anything, sometimes a template can just be really helpful to give you that inspiration or get your creative juices flowing. And the same here with your mindset practice. If you are staring at a blank journal going, don't know what to write, or if you find yourself avoiding mindset practice because it feels overwhelming to even think about what you might want to write about or journal about, then use prompts, use journal prompts. There are journal prompts everywhere, all over the internet for free that will serve you really, really well. Just think about what you are either working towards or what you're working through and what would make sense, and just literally Google journal prompts for and add the appropriate term, and you will get so many come up. It just, again, takes away you having to choose. So rather than saying, shall I write about today? You just go, let me take this prompt for the day, do it, done. I make it sound quite clinical potentially. I think that's my Enneagram 8 as I'm talking, but this will change things. This will change the game for you if you are not doing these things. If you recognize part of yourself in any of the things I've talked about this week or last week, where the actual performance of getting around to it is enough to put you off doing it, things like this will change things, and your brain will not like it. Your brain will go, oh, we don't want to use a prompt, or maybe we don't want this prompt. Maybe we just want to go and find something else. But that's just a way of avoiding doing the thing. So I highly recommend creating these resources, patching them up, having them there and knowing where you go for them. And then even when you feel the resistance, using them and just pushing through and using them. These are the kind of things that have saved me so much time and energy and have made me so consistent in so many areas. And lastly, number 10, on a slightly different note, but again, learned through personal experience. You may remember back in January, one of the things that I committed to this year was having a massage at least once per month. Last year, I was very ill for a lot of the year, and those kind of self-care practices definitely fell off for me for a number of reasons. So that's why I committed in January that one way or the other, I would make it work. I had a massage every single month of the year. And one of the things that's really helped me to do that is to book in again while I'm there at the appointment. It's really easy for me to go, oh, it's next month, it's a month away, and say, oh no, I'll let you know, because I'm thinking, I want to see what else comes in and what else I'm doing. But honestly, coming out of the massage and her saying, would you like to rebook? And me saying yes and getting it in the diary means that I do not miss it. And this can be the same with more boring life admin as well, like say going to the dentist or the opticians. If it's anything that requires you to go on a semi-regular or regular basis, get it booked in, because I have done this myself with the dentist where they're like, come back in 6 months for your next checkup. And I'm like, great, I'll get in touch, because it's ages away. And I'm thinking, I don't want to commit. I don't want to tie myself down in 6 months' time. And then guess what? 6 months comes and they're phoning me up and they're saying, your dental appointment's due. And they're then fully booked for 2 months. So honestly, for the sake of reducing admin and reducing having to think about it and just increasing your overall bandwidth, get these things booked in. Get them booked in while you are there, so you don't have to make the decision. It's already done. So I know that was a lot. That was a whirlwind. That one probably could have been a course as well, broken down into more detail. But I hope that has given you some ideas of practices that you can put in place or adopt that are going to support your energy, because they are just going to mean less decisions, which is going to mean more energy. And less decisions in life means more bandwidth and more decision-making muscle for business or for big decisions in life, big important decisions, not small ones about groceries and, yoga and journal prompts. Those decisions do not have to take a lot of energy from us. So thank you for tuning in once again. It has been so much fun to share these ideas with you, and I've really enjoyed doing this mini-series on decision fatigue. Thank you again for tuning in, and if this resonates, I would love to hear from you. Feel free to drop me an email, drop me a DM on Instagram, however you prefer to communicate, and let me know which ones resonated with you the most. So for now, have a wonderful week, and I will see you again next Monday. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Ambitious Introvert Podcast with me, Emma-Louise Parks. If you enjoy this show, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review on iTunes. As a thank you, one lucky reviewer each month will win a 60-minute one-on-one coaching session with me, where you'll get the clarity and confidence to attract your ideal clients. And if you know someone who could benefit from listening to the show, then please do share and help me reach as many fellow ambitious introverts as possible.